It's Nurse Amy here.
And Nurse Carm. And welcome to the Medical Mission, where you'll find everything and anything medical related. So guys, in today's video, we're going to talk about the coronavirus. We've been getting many questions about it. We'll address the specific user questions at the end of the video, but for now we're going to answer frequently asked questions that are going on in the community. So much, and it's how the virus spreads. Firstly, you have to be within 6 feet of a person who is positive to contract it. And the way you contract it is...
So if someone that's positive either sneezes or coughs and it lands on you. Mm-hmm. So it could either enter by your mouth, your nose, or your eyes. You can also contract this virus if a positive person, sneezes or coughs on a surface. The virus is now on the surface. You touch the surface and, you rub your eyes, you rub your nose, your mouth, whatever. You could also contract it like that.
Exactly. So that's why we say to wash your hands. Next, the symptoms. What are the symptoms you'll present with once you contract it? So these symptoms have to be new or within the last 7 days. So either you'll have a dry cough, you'll have a fever over 38 degrees, you will have new onset of diarrhea, you will have a runny nose, or the other thing is if you have nasal congestion, and also a sore throat. So these are all symptoms that present with the coronavirus. So be careful if you have any of these symptoms. It doesn't mean you have to have all of them to be positive for the virus. You could have one of many of these symptoms and you are considered a possible carrier of the virus. Okay?
So another one is, can someone who's infected that does not have symptoms spread this virus? So it's more easily spreadable. I know this is not a word. When the person does present symptoms, but people could still spread it without symptoms. So that's why it's important to social distance, which we're going to get in later in this video, because a lot of people are walking around and they don't know that they're positive, and so on and so on. So yes, you could spread it with symptoms and without symptoms. Yeah. And the symptoms will usually show up in 2 to 14 days. Yeah.
Next, we got a question on, can I take Advil during this corona time, or even if I'm positive, can I take Advil? Right now, the truth is we do not have enough scientific knowledge on this yet. However, in the hospital, we still are giving Advil-like medications in the hospital, which are called NSAIDs. So to patients who are actively positive. So there's not enough data to say that it worsens the symptoms or whatnot, but as of right now, we are still giving these medications to people in the hospital. Therefore, we're just debunking that for now. Okay.
So I've been seeing this a lot on social media, and people will just be like, don't take Advil, don't take naproxen. Like she said, as of now, there's not enough research, so most doctors are not saying no, don't take it. But when people post things like this, you have to see if there's a reference. Yeah. Did they post a link where I could go back and see the research or the data that they did?
Exactly.
So a next common question is, should I wear gloves? I know you guys have been seeing a whole bunch of people outside with masks and gloves on, either on the bus, on the trains, just outside taking a walk, in grocery stores. In short, no, you should not wear gloves. If you have a glove on, this is a second skin for this virus to live on. So you're just giving it more opportunity. You're just giving yourself more opportunities to get the coronavirus, basically.
Exactly.
So you're going around with a glove in the grocery store. You're touching all these cans, all the fruits, the vegetables. Let's say you are infected now with this glove. You're going in your purse. You're getting your debit card. You're getting your credit card. So you're putting this virus there. Touching your steering wheel, touching the pole, in the trains, in the metros, and then you're going home with this infected glove on.
Yeah.
So people will say, oh, well, it's the same thing as having, you're going to get infected with your hands too. No, it's not the same thing. Because if you don't have a glove on, you'll be washing your hands more often, or you'll be using antibacterial more often.
Exactly. So it's safer.
Exactly. For example, if I just came off the bus, or if I just, went grocery shopping, getting in my car, you could use antibacterial quick and then go on to your next activity.
Yeah.
With a glove, you're going to do your activity, grocery shopping, getting on the bus, doing whatever, and you're not going to be taking it off using another glove. Most people use that same glove
multiple
day.
Times.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the worst part is that some people wear these gloves as a false reassurance for themselves, really, and then they don't even wash their hands after they've used that glove all day.
Yeah.
So really, it's like so useless in the end, because then you're not doing your hand hygiene to protect yourself and others. And we'll get into the details of how important hand hygiene and using antibacterial Purells, like soaps like this, of how important it is to use these things, but we'll get into this a little bit.
So the same thing with a mask.
Yeah, the same thing with a mask. So there's two types of masks that we see in the community very often. There's the normal surgical mask that goes around like this. And there's the N95 mask, which goes around like this, and there's usually a tight seal around. The N95 masks are used for medical professionals who are needing them. There is a huge deficit in the hospital for them, and we really need them. And the reason why we need them is because in the hospital, there is a risk for the virus to be transmitted in an airborne manner. And when we say an airborne manner, we mean that when patients are being intubated and extubated, we're doing deep suctioning. These mechanisms that we're using to save people's lives, once we're done performing these interventions, what happens is these kind of excrete aerosols into the air, where the virus can live up to 4 to 8 hours. This would never be a problem in the community because we are not doing these invasive medical procedures. And therefore, for the medical professionals to stay safe, we need to have the N95 masks that go around like this. How there's a infection there. Again, this disease is not spread airborne in the community because we are not doing these medical interventions. So, if you're wearing a surgical mask outside, you think you're being cautious by wearing them, maybe if you are sick, you're presenting with symptoms. No, the people who are not presenting with symptoms. This is completely useless because you're not actively coughing or whatnot. This is when you are the most contagious, as we just mentioned. Therefore, the best way to protect yourself when you have no symptoms is to simply wash your hands. That being said, for the people who are sick and wearing the mask, it is good to wear in the community. Obviously, you should not be going out if you have the symptoms, but for some reason, if you're being transported from the hospital to home, for example, we will give you a surgical mask to wear. This mask can get wet because your nose might be running, or you're coughing in it, so the mask becomes physically wet. And as we mentioned before, the virus is spread through contact droplets. So if you're talking to someone in the car and your mask is completely wet, these droplets could transmit to the person if they're within 6 feet of you and go into their eyes and mouth and nose when they rub themselves. So, it's super important to realize when your mask is wet, you need to change it or the virus will still spread, okay?
So in short, guys, no masks or gloves because it's just giving you false hope and it's another field for the virus to stay on. So you're kind of like doubling your chances of getting this virus.
Exactly.
Yep.
The next is, how can you as a person prevent the spread of infection control? So this is a huge one. We've been asked this many times. You've been hearing it on the news. We say social distancing number one. What we mean by social distancing is not I'm gonna occasionally not see my friends and on the weekend we'll get together. It really means complete quarantine for everybody. Why we say that is because, again, first of all, you can contract the virus if you are within 6 meters of somebody who is contagious or not contagious, correct? So now, if we limit this distancing completely, everyone's in their homes, Therefore, you're keeping the medical professionals safe and therefore, less spread of the virus. The other thing is to make sure you thoroughly wash your hands. It's so important. This virus is killed immediately when you use antibacterial soap and you wash your hands properly. Because a lot of the times when I see people wash their hands, they take a little soap and they do this for 2 seconds and then they leave.
Yeah.
Or they just do this after they wash their hands. And I'm like, no, that's not how you wash your hands.
The virus loves that.
Yeah, they love it. So you really need to make sure you wash your hands properly. So that's really the way you prevent the spread of the virus. It's to social distance, wash your hands properly, really only go out for the real essentials. You need to do your groceries that once a week, no problem. Make a list so you don't have to go back 100 times.
Yep. Okay, so the next one is, can I visit my grandmother or grandfather, or someone elderly in general? No. I know it sucks. I know, especially there's such a big risk of the elderly being, socially isolated and depressed.
Yeah.
But their age just makes them a more vulnerable group for getting this virus. Their age, and they usually have underlying conditions. So what that means is they usually have other diseases or conditions. So sorry. Stay away from grandma.
Yeah. The next thing is, does the virus live on surfaces? So, yes, it does. The specific surfaces are metal and plastic and steel. The virus will live up to 72 hours. The other one is cardboard. So, cardboard, the virus will live to up to 24 hours. Cardboard, the virus will live for 24 hours. Therefore, make sure that when, for example, if you get your package from Amazon that's in like a cardboard box, when you receive the box, make sure you wipe it down with some Lysol wipes, take your package out, and then throw the box away. And that way, when you wipe the box, when you do throw it out, it does protect people who are working in sanitation to pick up our garbages. It also protects them in case. So that's another thing to just keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. So how do doctors test for this virus? They'll just take a little swab and they'll put it in your nose, a little in back of your throat.
It goes about this far in, from your nose to your ear.
Exactly. And they'll use that swab and that's how you'll get tested.
It hurts. It's not comfortable, but you gotta really stick it there and then just know that like you need to do it. You need to do it for yourself and for other people. Mm-hmm. It's very short. It's like not even 2 seconds that they do it for. So it's uncomfortable, but it needs to be done. Mm-hmm. The next question we got was, how do I know, how do I stay updated with the coronavirus information? Super important. Again, like we mentioned, you need to get your information not from Instagram,
not from Facebook,
Tom, who's posting some random thing from like www.hotline.com. No, it's really has to be government official websites.
Because people will panic in these times and they'll see something posted on Facebook. They'll share it quick, and
you don't even know where it came from.
Yeah, exactly.
The most reliable website right now, the website is the Ministère de la Santé des Services Sociaux. So this has all the information you need. It's even recapping everything we're saying today. And this is mostly related to Quebec. You can contact the hotline. It's a hotline number that is specifically to answer people's questions, but also if you do want to get swabbed because you present with symptoms. This hotline is from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The number is 1-877-644-4545. People have been saying that they've waited like 3-4 hours on the phone, like waiting to be like, triaged. What I need to tell you is that at the end of this video, we will put a picture that has specific places where you can call within your area. So if you live in Laval, there's a specific number you can call. If you live in Montreal, there's a specific number you can call. If you live in a different area in Quebec that's not mentioned, you call this number. We will put it at the end of the video so you can call the specific line so you wait less. Now, if you call all of those numbers and you're like, no one's answering, that's when you would call the 1877 number. So just keep that in mind. Specific location equals specific hotline, and if that fails, you call the 1877 number.
If you live anywhere else, the World Health Organization, they have so much updated, reliable information.
Yeah, and it even tells you where the pandemic, where we're at in different countries of the world, including Canada. So really, like, get your information at these very reliable spots, because it will cause zero confusion and it will make you less stressed, honestly.
Okay, so one of the last common questions regarding the coronavirus is, can I breastfeed my baby and I'm positive for the coronavirus? So these are the steps that you would go through. Number one would be to wash your hands well and to put on a surgical mask. Wash your breasts with antibacterial soap. Let them dry well, and you could breastfeed your baby safely. After you finish your feed, you would put your baby at least 2 meters away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are the questions that were commonly asked. We hope they really helped you. We will go into viewers' questions in the next video.
So stay safe, guys. We know this is a very difficult time. We're confused. We're scared. We're not sure about the information out there, and we're getting literally information like minute by minute, hour by hour.
Yeah.
We're all in this together, and if we put a joint effort in staying safe and away from each other, we could help out by flattening the curve.
Exactly. And for the people who are respecting the quarantine, thank you so much. For us, you are doing amazing things, and you're keeping us safe as well, and you're making our jobs a lot easier at the hospital. And like I said, it's been crazy, so seriously, thank you. We appreciate you. And if you have friends who are not respecting it, share this video to them. Show them that it's really serious. The virus is serious, guys. We need to make sure that it goes away quickly.
Yep, so stay tuned for part 2.